Hello, everyone, and welcome to Disney Magic Podcast, a fun new Disney podcast hosted by a British guy. I'm your host, Zach Campbell, and you can join me every other week for magical stories, amazing guests, intriguing history, and overall a trip down Main Street, USA. From Disney parks to a galaxy far, far away, we'll be talking all things Disney and just how magical it is. Get ready for this episode because it's starting in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Disney Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Disney Magic Zach, and welcome to another fantastic episode here on the pod. Oh, what's going on there with that? That is so very strange. That is, we're not having that. We're not having that. Anyhow, hope you're all doing fantastic. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to episode 15. Episode 15 of the pod. I have a very special super guest here. Today we have Josh from Modern Mouse. I'll let him introduce himself in a moment there. But yeah, let's get on the call. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it going. Let's get Josh in. Let's get him in. Hello, Josh. How's it going?
It's going really well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not at all a problem. Welcome to the podcast. Hope you're doing really well. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Staying busy. I live in the Los Angeles area, so as it gets colder around the rest of the world, I'm still sitting in a short sleeve shirt, so I'm all right.
I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. It's like 6 degrees Celsius here today, and it's like freezing. I'm like wrapping up in like layers. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be like this. Oh no,
I used to live in the snow, so
Oh, okay.
for me it was like when it's 0 Celsius, when it's freezing,
Yeah.
I'm used to that. So like now living here in LA, it's like, oh yeah, this is great. Whatever.
Oh yeah, all the time. Oh, I need to get into a warmer climate, man. That's what I need. I need to move to like California or Florida and just be like, yes, live in that heat all the time. So what I'll do is I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell everyone here what you're about, who you are. Take it away. You're in the spotlight.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, my name's Josh Taylor, and I host. I do quite a few things, but my main thing these days is hosting Modern Mouse. I'm also the kind of lead for the channel, so I'm also the lead writer, director, editor, etc.
Nice.
Although I do have some friends who help me out. Joe's a part of the channel; he's my co-writer. Jack. As well. Jeff, a bunch of people have kind of like helped with the channel overall.
Nice.
But yeah, I enjoy doing it, and Modern Mouse these days is kind of focused on history and analysis of films, in particular, usually family films or Disney films. And we try and add some twists and some things that maybe like people haven't seen from history videos, or I try and find the most smallest minute details, so even the people who are would say they're experts will find something new and interesting.
Nice.
For whatever topic.
We love it. So would you class yourself as like a Disney historian channel, kind of like Defunct Land, Yesterworld, all that kind of stuff, or?
Yeah, I mean, when I started the YouTube channel, it was very different, and I started mostly in theme parks. And I actually was kind of coming up at the same time that a lot of those guys were, like Defunct Land, Midway to Main Street, Yesterland, all those people. And so I never found like a huge niche in it, and I had a video blow up that was about like all the different eras of Disney animation.
Oh, nice.
And I just kind of said like, well, let's pivot and do this. So I moved from theme parks to films. So, to my knowledge, I'm one of maybe like 2 or 3 people that do specifically like Disney film history.
Okay.
But I feel like I've also tried to branch out and do more outside of just Disney. But I would say 90% of my stuff is Disney or an affiliate.
Nice. So in terms of that, are you looking at like obviously you talked about the Disney eras, like the golden era, the Renaissance. I'm obviously talking about all of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Disneyverse. Are you a fan of the Disneyverse kind of like theory then for the movies or?
Any like I always appreciate people coming up with theories, Disneyverse or Pixar theory or
Mm.
whatever. It's not my cup of tea. I try and focus as much as I can on the real stuff more
Yeah.
than the theories. But it's always fun to like go and seek out those things and read about them or watch videos about them.
Yeah, nice.
Um, yeah, just that's just not. I don't know if maybe I'm just not creative enough to do that or what, but yeah, that's just not my thing.
Fair enough, fair enough. So all right, so you're a movie analysis, you're a Disney. Is there any topics you want to potentially go into besides Disney? Would you like to go to like, I mean, keeping it family friendly, would you do like Studio Ghibli? Would you do kind of like Universal, all that kind of stuff? What, like Minions, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Is that something you're
Um,
looking at going into in the future, or are you just strictly
yeah, of
like
course.
Disney stuff?
No, I recently somebody actually left a comment, and I tried to figure out how to best say this. So I tried to say it in a pretty succinct way.
Mm.
Disney is my niche, not my bias.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
like I was kind of pigeonholed into, well, let's just chase what's working for the channel. What was working was Disney animation.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of like all types of animation,
Mhm.
all types of family films. And in fact, the last maybe 2, 3, 4 years, my favorite animated films of the year have rarely ever been the Disney or Pixar films.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, they've usually been from somewhere else. So I'm trying to dabble more into those things in the future. I'm working on a video right now about a foreign film actually that released this
Oh,
year
cool,
called
cool.
Unicorn Wars.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Um, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it is basically teddy bears versus unicorns.
All right.
Um, but it's apocalypse now, and it's bloody and gory and rated R.
That sounds
Um,
awesome.
it's really fun.
I
It's an
love the
enjoyable
sound of
film. So
that.
I wanted to highlight it. I'm working on some other things about like Hanna Barbera and Warner
Oh,
Brothers.
nice. I love Hanna-Barbera. Obviously, you
Yeah.
grew up
So
with all of those, so that's good. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I mean, like some of that stuff, like that you've brought up, like Disney, like the animated films of like the past 3 or 4 years. I don't know, man. I feel like they've been lacking a little bit with like kind of how they have been. Like, I can't remember the last time. Last Disney film I watched was in cinemas. It was Elemental. Man,
Yeah.
it was good. It was all right, but it wasn't like it didn't captivate me. I wouldn't like rush out to see it again. You know what I mean? Like if it was on, I'd watch it, but like I wouldn't rush out to see it again. But like I get where you're coming from with that, and like other types of media and stuff like that. Like I'm a big fan of like I'm a big fan of like Studio Ghibli stuff like that. So I love
Yeah.
those types of like animated movies and like anime and manga adaptations and stuff like that. So that's cool that you're dabbling into more like the movies that I've never heard of. I mean, I don't know if I'm cultured enough, but like I'm sure other people have read them as well, seen them as well. So, but yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. It's good to like kind of branch out a little bit as well and not be specifically like Disney when you get to a point and be like, yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's cool. That's cool. Um, I've got a question for you. A fun Disney fact that you want to share. What is something that's your little like? Oh, this is a fun little tidbit. What's your go-to little Disney fact?
Oh man, I've done so many that it's difficult because like I try and post like one a day on like TikTok or
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram. So like there's so many to go through. I will say, uh, like a personal favorite.
Mm.
Um, I'm trying to think of like a recent one I've done. I
Yeah.
would say like I think that it's kind of cool. That going to this year being like Barbie being kind of a huge thing. Like
Oh yeah.
Barbie was initially like when they were writing Toy Story, Barbie was the initial intention for Woody's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But Mattel did not allow them to use Barbie. They didn't, what was Pixar at that point? They were just some
Yeah.
upstart company.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they weren't trusted with the Mattel license.
Ah.
So instead, that's why they created Bo Peep as a character.
Oh, okay.
And then they introduced Barbie in the second film because they were at that point a proven entity.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we
Oh,
would have not gotten Bo Peep had Mattel cooperated.
Wow, that's very, very cool. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that myself, actually. That's really cool. You learn something new every day. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about favorites here. I've got a couple of things, just dabbling in some of your favorites if you want to reel them off.
Yeah.
Favorite Disney movie. It doesn't have to be new. It can be like your all-time favorite Disney movie. What would that be?
Yeah. This is I have two answers because I have a hipster answer, which is the real answer. Which is the Three Caballeros.
Oh, okay, yes, that's a good choice.
And then my answer for people who have never seen the Three Caballeros tends to be Zootopia.
Oh, okay, good choice. How come those two movies?
I really loved Zootopia because I like movies that go deep, that try and tell you something, that give you more than just, in particular with Disney, more than just a fairy tale. They try and give you something interesting to think about. And I thought that Zootopia came out at the right time, politically, socially.
Yeah.
And because it's cute little animal characters, it's easier to palate. And I thought that there was kind of a brave choice of Disney to try something like that, and it worked so well. I hope that whatever they do in the future with the franchise, they don't ruin it. But that, and then the Three Caballeros, I grew up watching the film. It was like a VHS tape that I just wore out.
Yeah.
And I love the mix of live action and animation together. That was kind of technically a big challenge at the time.
Yeah.
All of the abstract animation, it kind of taught me that like not every film, especially not in animation, do you need like a plot.
No.
Sometimes it could just be really beautiful colors and drawings, and that's totally cool. And then my favorite character, Jose Carioca, kind of came out of that. So
nice.
Yeah.
We love that. Yeah, like movies like the Three Caballeros, Mary Poppins was another one. Just the animation on top of like a live action, it always fascinated me. And you still don't see it much today, to be fair. So it was a technical marvel back in the day. I still think it is, to be fair, because the last time I remember seeing it like that was, well, the last movie that I watched was probably Mary Poppins Returns. I know they did it in the Disney Plus short for like the 100th anniversary, but I haven't watched that yet. So, but yeah, that's the good answers there, Josh. Good answers. We like that. You like that. All right. So, do you keep up with the theme parks at all? Have you been to a theme park recently, or is that something you tend to?
Yeah. I'm still a huge fan of the theme parks. I kind of like it. I like them even more now. Like I did them for a while where I was, shooting video all the time at the theme parks.
Yeah.
And I live right down the street from Disneyland.
Oh, the dream.
So for me it's a 15-minute drive, to theme park. I was just at Universal Studios on this past Thursday.
Nice.
I'm always at a theme park, and I just get to enjoy them these days.
Nice. That's what we like that. It's no pressure. You can just do what you want with there. Universal. Have you been to Super Nintendo World?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. How is it?
I am not the biggest fan. I think that aesthetically, it's really cool to be in there.
Yeah.
Unless you buy the power band, which I believe is like a $40 or $50 add-on, there's not much to do in the land besides the ride.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a large land that you basically need an extra thing for most of it. And even the ride, I don't think the technology 100% works. It's a great idea, and I hope that they get it fixed over time. But alternate reality, kind of wear your glasses and see the characters riding around.
Yeah.
It pulls too much of a focus between the practical sets and the stuff you're supposed to like see animated around you.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a bit overwhelming.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. To be fair, I think because they're trying to bring like the virtual reality into like real life. It's kind of like the lines are very much blurred in between. Like from what I can tell from like things that I've seen,
Yeah.
it's trying to make it so it works well. Like say if they iron out the details of things, I think it could work well, but I think they just need a little
Yeah.
bit more just there. Yeah. All right. So, Disneyland. What's your favorite ride at Disneyland, Josh?
Oh, I will always love Space Mountain.
Hmm.
It's never not probably my favorite roller coaster in the world.
Yeah.
I love a big thrill. I love going, upside down multiple
Yeah.
times and whatnot. But there's something about Space Mountain that just is so fun every time, no matter what.
The nostalgia, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been out to Disney World?
I've been to Disney World.
Have you?
I've not been to any of the other international Disney parks though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy Disney World. My actually, I grew up in Colorado and I moved to California, and my parents moved to Florida, and so I get to go and visit them and go to
Nice.
Disney World now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool. We like that. You get to experience both of them. Yeah. The only international park I've been to is Paris, and that was like years ago. I think it was like 7 last time I went. That's the closest part, but Disney World has a special place in my heart. It does. It does. It is the one that I remember the most. It's the one that I fondly like enjoy, and yeah, I'd love to go to Disneyland one day. So hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, go to the OG park. But yeah, it's definitely on the bucket list. And speaking of bucket lists, Josh, what is the one thing on the top of your bucket list that you want to do that is Disney related? Is there anything that tops everything?
Um. Yeah. I mean, I've been lucky enough to do a lot of things with Disney that most people would dream of.
Mm.
And I feel like I'm close enough that I could say this, and hopefully it would become a reality. I would love to write a book
Ooh.
historically, and have it be either released by the Disney Archives or just live and exist at the Disney Archives. Like to have my name historically be part of the company in some way.
Oh, that'd be insane.
Would be a thrill.
Oh, 100%. So like a historical like rendition of what exactly? What would your book be about?
I have a couple of friends who have written books that actually, one of their books does live at the archives.
Wow.
Which is he did the history and kind of biography, or helped with the biography from Rolly Crump, who was a famous Imagineer.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I would really like to focus more in on some of the film stuff. I would love to write. Well, first I would like to write a book of essays that are all based around Disney stuff.
Yeah.
More in history than like in my own opinion.
Yeah.
But different stories like that are kind of not necessarily connected, just multiple historical stories.
Nice.
And then I would love to go into kind of like the 9 Old Men.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
And see kind of a history of their time at the Disney company from the early days, the 1920s all the way through the 1980s.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. Wow. And like that, just oh my gosh, sorry. Oh gosh. Yeah. So just the archives. That is such a magical place. Like I think that's every Disney fan's dream to like try and either get in there or just experience it. 100%. Oh man, that'd be so cool to do. That'd be so cool to do. I think if you do it right, Josh, you can be able to do it. You can dream it. You can do it.
That's
That's
right.
yeah. All right. So, speak. Let's go. Let's have another favorite thing. Do you watch a lot of like Disney content over on YouTube, or do you tend to steer away from it a little bit because are
And I would say I don't watch. I dabble. I
you
definitely
dabble?
dabble.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say that yeah, I've got a couple of people that I follow that do theme park stuff. A couple of
Mhm.
people that do um, some film stuff
Yeah.
that's not necessarily Disney, but just film related. So
Mhm.
I do still watch some of my peers.
Yeah, nice, nice. Okay, so moving on from that, who would be your favorite YouTuber? It doesn't have well, it can be Disney, it can be it can be any of your interests. Like, give them a little bit of a shout out. Well,
Oof. Man. Okay. Well, I will say like as far as um Disney stuff.
Mm.
Oof. I mean, it's more in the line of like Marvel than anything
Okay,
else.
okay, okay.
But if you're into like timelines and being able to kind of know like the in story
Mm.
history of some of this stuff, Geek Critique does like amazing breakdowns. He did one as well for like the James Cameron Avatar
Oh,
films.
nice, nice.
Um, and so he's done a couple of things Disney related. Him and I are planning to do something
Oh,
in
very
the near
cool.
future, so we'll see.
Nice, nice.
Um, and I would say like out of anybody that I try and watch consistently, and if
Mm.
you watch him, you'll see like the influence on me for sure.
Yeah.
Which is Patrick H. Willems, and
Okay.
he does a lot. He does a lot of like 1 hour video
Mm.
essays that go
Nice.
deep into things. If you want to know like especially the history of like recent years Looney Tunes,
Mm.
um, he has like a whole video on that. But he does stuff like I don't know if you saw the movie RRR last year. It was like this big, huge kind of Indian success story internationally.
I think I've heard of it.
Um,
Yeah, I've not watched, but I have heard of it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he did like a whole video about like Indian cinema and like the
Nice.
history of it. And so like he kind of dives deep into some interesting topics that maybe you'd never thought about, but
Mm.
then like when you hear him talk about it, you go like, oh, that's interesting. I want to kind of go further.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so I would say that, and then like of all the theme park people, I'm not following a ton of them these
Mm.
days. I will say like, of course, Defunct Land.
Yeah.
For a long time, I didn't watch his stuff because I didn't want to be influenced by it, but now I'm kind of out of the theme park area,
Yeah.
so I watch his stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as like Disneyland locals, like Fresh Baked does a
Mm.
great amount of like news updates and things like that. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
more interested. I guess I would say like as far as theme park stuff, I'm generally more interested in somebody who's giving me information
Mhm.
than just like your average vlog, at the
Yeah, yeah,
parks.
yeah.
I feel like the vlog with no purpose is kind of uh, a little less entertaining than it was maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, vlog like that type of vlogging is still quite relevant in like well, as far as I can see in like the theme park and like Disney community and things like
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, I tend to watch a little bit of like Provost Park Pass as well. I feel like some of his
Mm,
videos are quite like they always have a purpose when he's in the park, which is
yeah.
good. I like that. But I also like where they have like kind of no purpose. It's just like a good old Disneyland day. Like we'll do what we want to do, and it's kind of like yeah, like it's fun. It's good to see that, but
Yeah.
I do like videos with a purpose sometimes. Video
I mean, they all
essay.
have their
Oh yeah, of
they
course.
all
Yeah,
have their
yeah,
place,
yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. They all have their place. They all have their place. We're all one big Disney family here in the Disney community. So everyone has a place. Everyone has a place. Um, but yeah, like video essays wise, I'd probably say like Defunct Land is probably the main ones that I do watch for like theme park stuff that I really enjoy. And I'll have to check those ones out that you've recommended as well, because I love deep diving into all the kind of like media as well. So I'm a big fan of like like you say, like Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera, that kind of stuff as well. So I'll have to definitely check that out. So yeah, thank you for that. Some new recommendations to check out, which is always good. Okay. So another question for you, another little favorite. Your favorite Disney memory. What's your favorite Disney memory? It can be a park, it can be a movie, it can be anything you want.
I have quite a few.
Okay.
I'll choose a park one though. I haven't. I feel like I haven't talked about the parks enough, and I I the first time that I remember being at the parks, because I went. My family would make the, I think maybe 18-hour drive
Wow, that's
from Colorado to California, like
yeah,
every few years
yeah.
to go to Disneyland.
Hmm.
Um, and so I went when I was like maybe 2 or 3 years old, but I don't remember that trip.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember going when I was like 7 though, and it was
yeah.
right at the time when uh Disney Afternoon was really huge. So like
Oh, nice, yeah,
DuckTales
yeah,
and Goof Troop and all those movies or all those
nice,
shows.
yeah, yeah, nice,
And
nice.
so I remember going, and I remember actually being meeting in person Scrooge McDuck and like
No, that's
getting his
cool.
autograph and stuff. And
Nice.
then there was like a little area that was supposed to be Duckburg, and like there was a
Ooh,
like a prison where you could stand with like the Bugle Boys from DuckTales and get your photo taken. I remember like specifically being in like this little prison with like little rubber bars that you could kind of squeeze your head through, and taking photos with my parents. So that's like a memory I'll always
oh,
cherish.
nice.
And it's made me more attached to like the Disney afternoon shows, which I commonly bring up in videos these days. It
Oh
feels like.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was just such a good era for the Disney Channel, I feel as well. Like the Disney afternoons, like DuckTales, Goof Troop. That Goofy movie is like probably one of my favorite animated movies. But yeah, Goof Troop was so good. That was like one of my highlights. But that's such a cool memory. Being able to meet like Scrooge McDuck as well, and like going to Duckburg must. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Do you still have his autograph now, or
Yeah, actually, when I moved out here, I have like I found like the book that they
nice?
have all the autographs in.
Yeah.
My parents bought it in the park in the early '90s,
Mhm.
and so last year I actually took me and a couple of friends went, and I took it with me,
Yeah.
and went up to a couple of characters and got an autograph. And I went up to Mickey. Here's another fun little Disney fact. Typically, the people that play Mickey Mouse or like Minnie Mouse
Mm-hmm.
are usually some of the more tenured people that work at Disney. Like to actually be able to play that character
Yeah.
is like a promotion
Yeah.
within within Disney.
Mm.
And so the person when I walked up to Mickey Mouse, sorry,
Yeah.
and got an autograph, the cast member that was with them had to like interpret what Mickey was trying to tell me, but like they were pointing at the book
Yeah.
and then pointing at me and like saying that I was small. And I guess the person in the Mickey suit, sorry for killing that buzz for anybody who didn't know,
Ah.
recognized that it was like such an older book because they had been there for a long time. So it
Oh,
was
no
kind of
way.
cool. Like I gave Mickey Mouse like a moment, and
Oh,
then
that's
like they
so
gave like a
cute.
moment in return. So
Oh,
yeah, it's cool. And so I plan to go back sometime soon and get some
yeah.
more autographs
100%.
because it's just fun.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, no way. That's so cool. How many autographs have you got so far?
I haven't counted. I'm sure like I've got most of like the original characters.
Nice.
Um and stuff from like the 90s. So I've got to probably start filling it up with some of the some of the newer,
Mm.
21st century characters.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd say I'd probably got like maybe like 30 or so autographs.
Nice. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, and that's just a piece of like just a piece of something that you can hold into like nostalgia and like especially from like when you was younger as well. But just being able to keep hold of that and just have that it's just be just a nice little memory, isn't it, of being able to explore and having all those memories there. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, okay. Um, let's get a little bit. Let's get a little bit. I'm gonna say controversial, but not really.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on live action remakes? Obviously, Disney are making quite a few of these. The latest being, I believe, The Little Mermaid. What are your thoughts on those? Do you feel like it's a good idea, or
This is actually a very controversial question.
yeah,
Um, I've covered a controversial and not a controversial answer, but I think a realist answer. And I think this is a chicken and the egg kind of situation.
yeah, yeah,
Back in like the early 2000s, we started to see a lot more in general, not just Disney, but broadly in film, a lot more sequels getting made,
yeah.
prequels, you know, intellectual property became such a huge, like, cool term to
Oh
start
yeah,
talking about.
oh yeah, yeah,
Uh, and so we've seen, you know, Disney play its part. I mean, the MCU is a huge part of that. Like, basically, like, keep taking the same characters and regurgitating with new stories.
yeah.
And then the live action films are like, let's just take old stuff and make it new again.
Mhm.
And the problem is that we as a audience also said at the exact same time in like the early 2000s, yes, this is what we want. The you know the top
Yeah,
20 box office films each year since like the mid 2000s has typically been all sequels or intellectual property big franchise movies.
yeah, yeah.
And so I don't blame Disney for continuing to make them
Mm.
as they feel like they have made money. I think that currently we are starting to see audiences pivot in the same way that they pivoted, you know, in like the 60s, moving away from westerns,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you know, like in the kind of by like the 2010s, like moving away from like romantic comedies. Like we kind of had our fill of those.
yeah.
Um, and I kind of see the same thing in general with like all these, you know, everything that's like sequels or
Mhm.
franchises or whatever. Like I think we're starting to see people gravitate towards more independent films, more interesting, unique ideas rather than
Mhm.
playing with the same characters and plot lines. Um, but as far as like the live actions, like they've been hit or miss. You know, I've enjoyed some of them myself.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, I was fortunate enough to go to a preview showing of The Little Mermaid at the
Nice.
El Capitan Theater, which is the Disney-owned theater here in Los Angeles.
Wow, that's cool. That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, so it's a really beautiful kind of fun
Mhm.
experience. It's the same with I've seen a couple of films there, but like that, I mean, it's always kind of weird to be like, "What was your experience with this film?" It's like, "Well, I have a very unique experience. You know, I
Yeah,
got to see it in like this cool theater. The people from Disney were there,
yeah.
etc." But like, I don't mind them. I understand why they're getting made. At the same
Mm.
time, I would love to see some new original ideas. We just as audiences need to be supportive of those new ideas,
Oh
and
yeah,
that hasn't been
100%.
the case in the past few years.
Yeah, yeah. That's like yeah, I can see that. Like I like some of them. Like you say, some of them are really good. I love the live action Aladdin. That was a really good one. I liked Beauty and the Beast as well. I haven't seen the Little Mermaid yet, but I am planning to at some point. Um, but yeah, it's one of them, man. I in terms of like original ideas, I really enjoyed the Jungle Cruise movie. That was a really good one for me. I feel like that was a start of like something for like the sea incorporated into the movies from the parks and things like that. I'd like to see more of that in movies and bring that lore more into the original IPs and things like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, getting to see the El Capitan, man, that must be so cool. Like, how did that become? How did you get there? Or
Um, One of my other jobs that I do besides just Modern Mouse,
yeah,
I have worked for several media outlets in
Very
Los
cool.
Angeles,
Nice.
and so I'll get invites to things periodically from I mean, my main group that I work with these days is Creepy Kingdom.
Okay.
And so we get to do a mix of like horror stuff, but then also we try and specialize more in the family friendly side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we get the Disney invites to things as well. And
Nice.
they needed somebody to go to the El Cap to do the Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
and I said yes, please, I would gladly
That's
go.
so cool. That's so cool. So is it like media that you do? Is it like media coverage, or is it just like
Yeah,
yeah?
I'll do a mix of things. So I started out as a writer,
Okay. Cool, cool.
but I kind of have become like a video and photography person. Obviously, going to a movie like that,
Yeah.
I still have to kind of write up a review.
Yeah, yeah.
But like we went all Halloween long to different like haunted houses and stuff like that, and I was
Wow.
always behind the camera shooting a bunch of stuff wherever we went.
That's cool. That's cool. Did you obviously for Halloween and stuff, did you go to Horror Nights at Universal or was that not on the table?
No, yeah, I went to so many things. Horror Nights was one of them. Horror Nights was
Nice.
one of the first of the year.
Yeah.
Knott's Scary Farm is the other kind of big
Oh,
one
yeah, yeah.
here as so and then I did not this year, but I went last year to Mickey's or to the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland.
Nice, nice.
Um and yeah, so I all the big ones I go to, and there's a ton of small ones. There was a guy this year who decorated his whole house like the haunted mansion and had
Oh,
like a
wow.
little maze that you could walk from his garage through his backyard.
Wow.
It was cool. So I got to go to that too. I get weird little invites like that to
That's so
random
cool.
people's houses, like come and live in my backyard where it's completely dark, nothing will happen to you.
I love that. I love that. I'm in the wrong job, man. Like I'm in the wrong job. I work with children, man. I get no invites like that. I'm in the wrong country as well. Like that's crazy. That's so cool that you get to do that for like a job and like be able to like have those experiences. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. What's been your favorite experience this year then so far? Is it
As far as like haunted houses or like anything.
just anything in
um
general?
oh man. um this year, I mean, I feel like a lot of stuff has happened this year. A lot of stuff happened last year too that I really love. It was cool to go to, actually last night was a huge one for me.
Hmm.
Um I went to the US premiere of the new Godzilla film,
Oh wow, nice,
um
nice.
which is Godzilla minus one.
Hmm.
It's made in Japan, so it's not part of the monster verse that the American studios are doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was really fun, and like it's always cool to go to things where everyone's like dressed up really nice, and like they
Yeah.
make it a big kind of premiere event.
Hmm.
So it's cool to like drive up and step out onto like the red carpet and walk
Yeah.
along with like
Oh wow.
other people that I definitely don't deserve to be on the red carpet with.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always cool to do stuff like that. And then the other thing I will say, like I really, really loved um, this year, going to a lot of local kind of smaller haunted houses and stuff, and seeing
Yeah.
like what people had come up with and tried to do to change and be different than
Yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So it's cool to see like what's probably coming in the next like 5 to 10 years in that scene.
Nice. We love that. That sounds so cool, man. That's so cool. Like like being with the stars and just being able to like showcase like people's like local like just love and interest of like everything horror and things like that. Because I know Halloween is a big thing for you guys over there. Over here, it's really not of a big thing over here. Like we don't really do much at all. We have a couple of things, but like I'm in a weird place in the UK where there's nothing really around me, but like everything's like near me. It's very weird. Like the closest theme park we have, I believe, is Alton Towers or Alton
Yeah.
Towers that's open. They have like a, but it's literally for like a week. It's not for like it's not from like the middle of September to like end of October. It's
Right.
literally for a week, and it's like yeah, okay, fair enough. I think the longest one we have is a place called Camelot. And they closed this place down years ago, like 5, 10 years ago now. But they open it every, like, I think it's like the middle of October they open it, and they do like scare houses and things like that, kind of like horror nights at Universal, that kind of atmosphere with like scare zones and things like that. But again, that's
Yeah.
literally like 2 weeks, and it's like, yeah, once it's done then, because we don't do Halloween over here. To like the extreme of you guys over there, where it's like a month long thing. We're like, nah, we celebrate it for like a week and then we're done. But it must be so cool to like do all of that. But yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. Okay, so let's talk the channel a little bit, Josh. What's been your favorite video to make so far for your channel?
Oh man, every one of them is a tiny little baby that I just love and
Yeah.
adore. I will say in the past year I shifted gears. My co-writer
Mhm.
Joe and I sat down and came up with this idea that I should tell like kind of a meta story about myself.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the videos from in the past year have kind of been adjacent to my own personal story.
Okay.
I did like a whole 10 episode arc where I was kind of facing a past evil version of myself. And in
Mm.
reality, I was actually kind of really facing at the time, like facing my past and kind of coming over some, difficult things in
Yeah.
the past few years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then uh, recently, like since May or so, we started like a second season of that where I've got a number of episodes where each one I'm trying to teach myself a new lesson
Yeah.
or whatever. So I would say like the the last like 4 big videos that I've done have been some of my favorites I've ever done, which
Nice.
is about the live action Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
There's another one about about Wizard of Oz, but
Mm.
specifically like the comparison of Oz the Great and Powerful, which came out 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and how it doesn't work with the original Wizard of Oz film.
Yeah.
Another which is about like the Muppets and how
Mhm.
they were influenced through like stoner comedy from the
Yeah.
1970s.
Yeah.
And then the most recent one, which is about Mousercise and
Mhm.
the 80s exercise craze.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, and it's good that every video you're bringing out that you feel proud of it, and you feel like, yes, this one is better than the last. And it's good that taking, every video should be better than the one before, because you're always
Yeah.
learning something new. When obviously, I assume like you're the same as me when you're editing and things like that. You're always learning new tips and tricks, and you're always trying to push yourself to the absolute limit of what you
Yeah.
can for that video. And it shows in your videos, man. It really does. Like something like the way, like the narrative of it, and the research that goes into it for those videos. You can just tell that it is a little passion project every single time. But again, even the smaller ones that you do as well, like that little short story you did for the Halloween, like the Great Pumpkin King, was it called, or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that? Yeah,
yeah,
even that was like such a good little narrative, and was such, you could tell that was something you wanted to do, you're working hard on. You know, I feel like every video for everyone who does YouTube, or who wants to get into it, it is, you need to have that passion, you need to have that love. And if it's not there, then it's not for you. But at the end of the day, you need to push yourself a little bit. Like, some of my favorite videos I've made have been the most recent ones, because I'm like really pushing for the edits. I'm pushing for to get that message across, and it's always fun. It's always a good time. I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy doing this as well. I enjoy doing the podcast. I enjoy interviewing guys like you who just have an absolute passion for what they do, and it's just so good. It really is. It's so fun to like experience what you love to do, and being able to see that on camera is always a good show. It always is. But yeah, like it's good. It's good to know that you're enjoying doing what you do, and you feel like you don't have to do it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. Okay. Let me think here. All right, let's move on a little bit. Let's do a little bit of blue sky imagineering.
Okay.
Let's put yourselves in the park. Let's pretend we're Imagineers. If there is one ride that you could bring back, or one ride that you would want to create, what would it be and why?
Ooh.
And every time
That's
I bring this question up, everyone's like, "Bring the people mover back."
I mean, of course, I love that. I love like the 1960s Tomorrowland on the go, right? Like
Yeah,
the Tomorrowland with like a real future, human future, not
yeah,
just like aliens.
yeah. Or
I like
robots.
I feel like that's kind of like the cop out answer, so it's difficult to say that.
Yeah.
As far as like something that I would love to see, um, I personally would love to see like a new pavilion at Epcot's
Oh,
World
yeah.
Showcase. I started before I did videos. I was mostly doing podcasting, and I
Yeah.
did like a whole series of podcasts about things that were never built at Disneyland. It's called The
Oh,
World
yeah.
That Never or Disney World. Sorry, it's called The World That Never Was.
Yeah.
Um, and I did quite a few on some pavilions that didn't ever end up at uh, at Disney World
Oh, there were so
for one
many.
reason for one reason or another, right? A lot of them are come down to politics or things like that were
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I would love to see. I mean, obviously, like we have Animal Kingdom, and for whatever reason, they believe that since they have Animal Kingdom, they can't have like an African, uh, spot in World
Yeah.
Showcase, which is so weird. Like, Africa's not just all animals.
I know,
So
yeah.
I would love to see like an Egyptian
Oh, nice, yeah.
pavilion there. I think that they could do a lot with that.
Mhm.
Um, they had originally planned to do Russia at one
Yeah.
point. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of fun things you could do with that as well.
Mhm.
People, would have to get over their stigmas against
Yeah.
certain places in the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I would love to see like a new, specifically. I think Egypt would be my one that I think I would add that I think people would really love. I think that that's something that
Oh, yeah,
would
that'd be
interest
cool.
a lot of people.
Yeah. What would be in your Epcot showcase then? What do you think could scream Egypt for Epcot? Would you have a
I mean,
ride in there like
it's got
Norway, or
it's got to be a boat ride, right? Like I feel like that's just
it's
like
gotta be. It's gotta be.
it's just like the natural fit.
Yeah.
I would love to go, and take a little boat ride into into a pyramid and
Mm,
see something cool in there.
yeah.
Um, give me some history of ancient Egypt and some of the rulers
Yeah.
of ancient Egypt as you go through would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so in that way, maybe it's sort of like a Pirates of the Caribbean type of thing where you're seeing animatronics
Mm,
and whatnot as you go by. But the classic stuff too. Like you got to have like a great Middle Eastern, Egyptian type of restaurant
mhm.
there. I would say like some kind of marketplace that feels different from Morocco. I feel like a lot of people would make that comparison.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's got to feel a bit different.
Nice.
And as far as like kind of the streetmosphere type of like shows that you could
Mm,
do, I'm not really 100% sure, but um, to me, that's the fun of it. I wouldn't really know what to expect out of a country like that.
that's
So
it. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
want to hang out there and see what happens.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I feel like it could be different every time with like the shows and the food options and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, nice. We like that. Not everyone mentions Epcot World Showcase because like every time I ask this question on the podcast, like bring the people mover back, no one ever goes to Disney
Yeah.
World. So thank you for that, Josh. Appreciate
I think
it.
that people generally love the World Showcase, and so like it doesn't really need fixing. Like as it stands, the World Showcase is probably one of the best
Yeah,
places to go anyway at Walt
that is
Disney
true.
World.
That is true. That is true.
But I would love to see more of like an African
Yeah. Oh yeah,
representation
100%. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
on there. So
But they need to they need to add more. I need to add more places there because there was so many planned in the past, and like none of them ever came. Like there
yeah,
was like but yeah, like you say, there was Russia. There was. I'm pretty sure there was like, well, what else was there? Was there a Spanish
there,
pavilion?
there was supposed to be
There
Spain.
was
There was supposed to
Brazil.
be Israel.
Yeah,
Brazil is a more recent one that didn't come to pass, and
yeah,
then they were supposed to open with a Central African
yeah,
pavilion.
yeah.
So that's actually where like the African outpost area
Mm.
is now.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
supposed to be like where where it went, but just never finished it.
yeah, yeah. That's the issue, isn't it? Okay, okay. So we like that. We like that. Thank you for that. Um, okay, let's move on to a little bit. Are you keeping up with the Disney news and things like that within the parks, like the
Oh
updates
yeah,
of everything? Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I tried
So
to.
this next question will be good then. Okay, so thoughts on the the Americas that was added to, and well, that is potentially being added to Animal Kingdom. What are your thoughts on that with Dino Land USA being changed and things like that?
Um, I'm not like some kind of purist with
Yeah.
the parks.
Hmm, hmm.
I think that they need to change and flow with time.
Yeah.
I loved Dino Land. I'm probably one of the few people in the world that understood the Chester and Hester storyline that they
Yeah.
tried to get through with the parking lot carnival.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think like having again representation of places that don't exist
Hmm.
at World Showcase or don't exist in Animal Kingdom South America is a great ad. It has some unique animals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different places that you could build that would
Hmm.
look unique and interesting and cool. And so I'm all for the change. I'm excited to see if that comes to fruition and how they end up doing it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably on the same page. As you like, I wasn't. I'm not the. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Dino Land USA just because it just looks so. To me, it looked tacky and it just looked kind of like run down. Like it just didn't looked well looked after. Oh my gosh, can't get my words out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm looking. I hope if it comes through, I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Because Indiana Jones could possibly be coming to it, and anything Indiana Jones, I'm a big fan of. So I'm looking forward to that. Encanto as well was due to come. The casita, the house is due to come as well.
Yeah.
In all of like the blue sky Imagineering kind of stuff. Um, okay, so Tiana's Bayou Adventure, you looking forward to that as well?
I am, yeah. I've really kind of loved from the Disneyland side of it. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because
Mm.
New Orleans Square's right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
And you've got
they
Tiana's
just
Palace
added,
there as well, haven't you? That's just
yeah,
recently
they just added
opened.
the restaurant, which
Yeah.
is great. I've eaten there; it's fantastic.
Mm.
So it fits in, but it also fits in with Frontierland
Yeah.
at Walt Disney World, and I think I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to see what they do with the characters and where they go with it in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as like they're gonna have the new TV show, supposedly the new animated TV show that kind of
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
out at the same time this ride opens.
Hmm.
So I'd love to see the character get more love, and hopefully this is a beginning for that.
Oh yeah, 100%,
Um,
100%.
yeah, again, I'm not like a purist. I'm not some nostalgist. Like I understand why they decided to do it
Yeah.
to make the change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I'm looking forward to seeing like if this attraction um is as much beloved and celebrated as like Splash Mountain was in years past.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I've just recently watched a video of on this exact topic as well, from Offhand Disney, and he was saying if it was done correctly and like it's done nicely and it's done in true like representation of how Splash Mountain was with animatronics and not like poorly put together with like a few screens and things like that, then this could be the Splash Mountain for this generation. I agree with that because like obviously, Splash Mountain came from the Song of the South, which is again a very controversial movie. Well, not controversial. It was just downright not the best movie to be like kind of promoting, but hey ho. But like Princess and the Frog is such a good film. Like it's one of my favorites. Like favorite princess movies. And like say the representation is done well. I think this will be. I think it'll be a smash hit. I think it'll be. I think it'll be really good. I think it'll be again a state. It'll be a staple in the park again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Like I'm looking for. Unfortunately, it's not going to be open when I go next year. But I'm hoping to get back over again soon and
Yeah,
then ride it because it opens November in both parks, I believe, like end of November, I
I
believe.
believe so.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to giving that a go next time I get to go around. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, like I say, I'm not a purist of the parks. Like I understand that they need to change for and they want to change. Like they're bringing new ideas every single time. And like Walt said, keep moving forward. You know what I mean? Like you can't be living in the past with it all. You can't be like keeping all the old stuff because it's going to be outdated. It's not going to be, it's not going to be the best for the park. You want the park to keep expanding and keep going forward with everything. So I agree. I agree with you on that, Josh. To be fair, um, let me double check. I've got everything here. Uh, yeah, I've got everything. Is there anything that you want to bring up?
Oh boy. I got nothing. I'm happy and I'm thankful that you had me on. I appreciate
Yeah, it's been
getting the
super.
time to talk about stuff. I love being able to always chat with people. So anytime anybody leaves me comments on YouTube, I try and get back to people.
Yeah,
Um, I'm luckily at a point in YouTube right now where I'm not overwhelmed with messages and things like that. So,
yeah, yeah,
if anybody ever like sends me an email or a DM or something on
mm,
Instagram or whatever, like I always try and get back to people,
yeah,
and I've made a lot of friendships and had some great conversations along the way. So
100%.
I'm always about feeding back the community that I came from.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. That's what it's all about. I feel like you know, being able to connect, and that's one good thing about YouTube and being on like doing this, like being able to share, the passion and the love of everything with people. Like through doing this, I've met some awesome people, yourself included. I've been lucky enough to go on like a couple of other channels and be like part of their videos as well and part of their podcasts, and it's just so fun, man, to be able to connect with people and stuff like that. So, but I want to thank you for coming on. It's been super having you. I've been looking forward to this for. I mean, like when you messaged when you said you was interested, I was like, yes, I love your channel. I'm so excited. I'm like,
Appreciate
yes.
it.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
super super excited to have you on. It's been such a fun talk. But yeah, is there anything you want to plug down below? Well, not down below. Is there anything you want to plug here, and then I can pop it down
Yeah.
below for you.
Yeah. I mean, check out the YouTube channel. I try and post once a week, maybe once every other week if it's a crazy big video, which is youtube.com/modern mouse. And then you can follow me pretty much anywhere on almost every social media at modern mouse Josh. So follow me wherever. I try and post like a lot of smaller little fact videos on Instagram and TikTok, and then the big videos, usually like 20-minute or 30-minute long videos over on YouTube.
Yeah, fab. And they are to be watched. They are super fun. They're very detailed. They're very informative. It's honestly, you've become one of my favorite channels to watch, 100%. But yeah, super fun to have you on. And yeah, I want to thank you all so much for joining me here today. Be sure to go and check out Modern Mouse. Be sure to tell them that Zach sent you to the channel. And yeah, super excited. Super fun to have you all here today. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe here. New podcast episodes every other Friday, and new videos every other Monday. But yeah, super excited. Thank you so much for being here, Josh. And yeah, thank you all so much for joining us, and I will catch you all again very soon. Until then, peace out. Have a magical day.